Welcome back. We are on day 2 of Vlogmas. So I'm feeling pretty good. We're on day 2 and this is the second video. I realized this morning as I was having coffee that if I keep up with this in any consistent form, I will spend more time with you all than I have spent with anyone since I left teaching, outside of Mario, because, you know, we live together. And I'm really excited about that and the prospect of that. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Alexis. I'm a full-time artist here in Brooklyn, New York, and on this channel I share my art and love of the city, among other things. And so if that sounds like your jam, I invite you to stick around. Today we are going to work to finish the commission that we started yesterday. We got the background done. Today we're going to work on the sweet pup. And then I gotta get this video edited and out before I get to a birthday party. So we have our work cut out for us. I am gonna stop chatting and yapping and I'm gonna get to work and we'll see how the day pans out. So I started this morning with my morning pages, and because I find that just to be a really grounding practice. And after we finished those, we jumped right into this commission. If it's cool with you, I might chat a little bit in my squeaky chair as I cut. But I have been really trying to do my morning pages again. Anytime life gets busy, I find that, like, if I wake up and I just sit at my desk and start work, then I forget to do them. And when I don't do them, I find that my brain starts to, like, hamster wheel again. And something that struck me this morning, or that I've kind of been reflecting on quite a bit, is how important trust is. And I was thinking a lot about how, like, I don't know, when you're doing something that is not prescribed, right? So if you're following a life path that is not traditional, so you're not doing the typical 9 to 5 and you're trying to carve your own way out, you really have to practice trust, and like trust that things are going to work out and that it's going to be okay and that you're going to have what you need. And I was thinking a lot about a girlfriend of mine. I taught with her for a long time, and something that she would consistently say is that she had everything that she needed and what she needed would be provided. And I was always like, okay. But when I tell you, time and time again, it was provided because she just trusted that it would be. And I struggle with the woo-woo, you know, like I struggle with that. I think trauma, scarcity, right? Lots of things. And so I struggle with that blind trust. And I feel like I have to be doing something. And so sometimes I hold on to things far too tightly. And so I've been trying to really practice, like, releasing the control of the outcome, and releasing, like, the need to know exactly what's going to happen. Because in all actuality, when you're doing something like building the life of an artist, there is no guarantee of one solid way, and there's no set path. Everyone that I know who makes their living as a creative, as an artist of some sort, they do it so differently than the next. And I think that that is what excites me so greatly, is like anything is possible and it can look however you want it to look. But it's also what's so terrifying because you don't know what to do. You really have to find and forge your own path forward. And as someone who, I follow a good rule. Now, if they don't make sense and if they cause harm, I'll be the first to rebel against it. But like if you've got like a set, I'm all about like, let's get this done. You know what I'm saying? So this has been a bit of a challenge. And when I say a bit of a challenge, it's been a big challenge trying to figure out how I want this to look and if I trust enough that it can happen. And I oscillate between like blind trust and sheer panic. But I was thinking a lot this morning about the artist's way. And when I was doing the artist's way and Julia Cameron talking about how with trust, we have to be these like co-conspirators or these co-creators, if you will, of our life with the universe. And so there really is something to like, you have to be active. And I think that so often in what we have been conditioned, many of us have been conditioned, is like a very passive life where others tell you, right? Do this and then this and then that, and then we will give you what you need. This like great benefactor paternalism, right, is what it's referred to in white supremacy. So like the government being very paternalistic, our jobs being very paternalistic. But I think what that does is it numbs us, and it numbs us to our own desires and our own creativity in such a significant way because we're put on this conveyor belt, whether or not we realize it. And within that, we are kept so busy building the dreams of others and the wealth of others that we can't breathe enough and take enough time to regroup, to really think about the life that we want to live and where we want to put our efforts and our energy. And so when we went into lockdown, I know I talk about lockdown a lot, maybe because I'm still kind of working through some of that. It was like, whoa, here in New York. But really, when I think about lockdown, that was the first time. Mario and I met when we were like, the day before I turned 25. Nope, the day before I turned 24. So we've known each other for a long time. And we have been married for 12 years, together 17. We would always laugh because I was a teacher, he was a musician, that we were like two ships passing in the night, right? So like sometimes we would go several weeks without seeing one another, and that was just kind of the groove that we were in. And then summer break would happen and I would be working from home and I would get to see him, and it was like, oh yeah, this is really nice. Like what a special treat that this is. But then once lockdown happened and we like couldn't leave our apartment, we all of a sudden had all of this like dedicated time with one another, and it was wonderful. I know it didn't work out wonderfully for a lot of people. We feel very, very lucky that we actually really like each other. And I laugh, but it's like, how much of our life do we go through with people that we don't even fully know, you know? And if anything, that time really solidified how much I adore him, right? So anyways, that's a whole other conversation. What was I even talking about? Oh, so then when we went back on site, there was like this whole grappling with like, we joked about how that time was kind of like a retirement, because we didn't know if we would ever be able to retire. We don't know if we'll ever be able to retire. And so we were like, wow, what a special treat that we got that like early retirement. We got a year and a half in a different schedule, so we actually got to spend time with one another in a way that we aren't guaranteed in the future, you know? And all of a sudden I was like, what am I doing with my life, right? Why am I spending so much of my life and so much of my energy? And like, I was working like 15-hour days, right? Like way too much through the weekend, constantly working. And I don't mind hard work. I don't want to work hard at the sacrifice of, at the end of this, what will I be most grateful for? I'll be most grateful for my relationships, not a job. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I've been thinking a lot about how necessary trust is and releasing that control, but being active in building. So I don't know how this is going to pan out, right? It's like it ebbs and it flows and things happen and they don't happen. And I think that's kind of contract work or freelance work. But I think a lot of it is like, a lot of us will become quite passive in our life because of the structures of society and because we're put on these conveyor belts and we think, well, this is what it is, you know? And we lack, not out of like any fault of our own, we lack the imagination of something different. And I remember for so many years thinking like, who are these people who are like out for a walk at 1 p.m. or 11 a.m., you know, like what is their life like? And now I go to the coffee shop and I don't know if it's like living in New York specifically, but I really just am encouraging myself to really understand how you can build whatever life you want if you are willing to weather the hardship of that building. And people can make anything work through a variety of means. And I am really challenging myself to let go of like that white knuckle control of out of panic and fear of the unknown, and kind of really trying to step into an excitement of the unknown. Because I don't know, maybe it's going to be way, way better than I can imagine. But I think that there is something to like releasing the passivity and stepping into a more active co-creator, as Julia Cameron put it, and really going after what you want. And then in going after what you want, trusting that the opportunities will present, right? And I think that that's where I really struggle, is that trusting that like if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm like really opening myself up and I'm like releasing all expectations and I'm just, you know, presenting myself in a way where I'm like, whatever happens, happens, but I'm like doing what I need to be doing to be like building what I want to build. I think I fear that the synchronicities that she talks about and the opportunities won't present, but I also know that like they do. I think about my girlfriend Eunice, who always has what she needs. And then I think about another friend of mine who back in March was having like a real like difficult time. And since then, she's been really working on like, you know, believing that what she wants is possible and putting it out there and becoming an extremely active member in like pursuing different avenues, right? And it has been incredible to see opportunities open up and present, and she has what she needs. And it's just been really empowering and encouraging. And I just think so much about how like we are meant for so much more than to like rise and grind and then it's over. Like I think so much about how there's like a saying, it's indigenous to people here in North America, and something along the lines of like they believe that we are here just as nature is here, right? To experience and to appreciate, and like the worth is not tied up in productivity. And I think that that's going to be something that I have to constantly kind of check myself on, because my worth is so tied up with productivity and like whatever. But I am excited, and I've been really trying to like release the need for control and rest more in that like trust. And that's terrifying, because when you have experienced trauma and immense scarcity, I don't know, this is my experience. I don't want to experience that again. And so I have kind of stepped into this role of like, or, you know, I've stepped into this existence of like needing to plan through step M, if you will. And if there's a hiccup, I need to have a backup. And that has worked up until 2022. And now I'm like, but maybe I don't need to know through step M. Maybe I just need to know step A. Maybe I just need to know like what's right in front of me. And I can be planning loosely, and I can be making plans, and I can be working towards that Z, right? But I don't know how I'm gonna get from A to Z. I just have to know that like I have my vision, and I am taking the necessary steps for myself to get there, but I have to stay open and flexible to how it really pans out. And I'm really hoping, I really am hoping that it's like way more magical than I can perceive in my human brain, because right now what I'm planning for is everything that it's based on everything that I've already experienced, right? And so within that, there's limitations. And so I'm trying to release that because I don't want there to be limitations. And I really do want there to be like tremendous, beautiful surprises along the way. And I think that the only way that those surprises are going to come in is if you open yourself up to them, and if you release the expectations. Because when you're set in how things have to happen, you are closed off from what may happen. Does that make sense? So anyways, this was a long little chat, but I wanted to share some of the thoughts that came up for me this morning in my morning pages, and something that I've been grappling a lot with as I'm like mentally preparing for 2025, and really in a way more excited about the future than I've ever been, and also more lost than I've ever been. And I think that both of those can exist simultaneously. They're not mutually exclusive. So I think that it is continuing to be comfortable with discomfort and really looking for the good things every day, and remaining extremely grateful for the opportunity to do this, because this is, I really did joke that art was for my next life, and I would always joke that like freedom from the constraints of others was for my next life. And I don't think that that has to be what is for this next half of my life. And I think that part of this process is, you know, repeating that, because I think for me, in order to really internalize something, it really is like, and I think any lesson in life that we are meant to learn is kind of cyclical, right? And it's kind of like, have you learned it, or are you still falling back into those old patterns? Because when we get comfortable, those old patterns start to pop back up. And so I'm really challenging myself to like stay open and excited, because I am really excited, and to trust that what I need is here, and to trust that what I desire is possible, even if I don't know how to get from here to there. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna have so much fun. All right, I got a few more layers cut out. I'm gonna stop chatting, and I'm gonna get this put together. But thanks for chatting. I would really love to know, sometimes I feel like I'm kind of just talking into the abyss, if you will. If there's anything that ignited a thought for you, I would really love to know. If you've been in a similar situation where you've had to rebuild, if you are also learning how to trust, I would love to know, because it's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard for me, hyper independent trauma. And I really think that that's like the big lesson that I'm learning right now, and that I have to learn in order for this to be something really incredible. So I would really love to know your thoughts. And thanks for listening. As I know I kind of talked a little slow, maybe kind of jumped around here and there. It's kind of hard to talk and cut at the same time, but I also really wanted to share that because it's been on my mind a lot lately. And maybe one of you needed to also hear that, right? That we can step out of the prescribed and into the unknown, and good things can happen if we can learn to release that need for control. So yeah. Anyways, let's get this pup's head cut out and get him assembled. All right, so we are done-ish. I like to sit with the commission for like a day or so to see if there's any tweaks, but here's the sweet pup in all their glory, and I think it turned out really, really cute. So I'm excited to get this on the way for my beloved client, and I'm gonna set this on the table. And now I'm gonna get this video edited, uploaded, and then I hope to join you again tomorrow. Tomorrow might look a little different because I'm in between projects right now. I might start another one. Don't know quite yet what my brain's gonna want. I am gonna get this video edited and uploaded. I'm gonna get out the door for that birthday party. But thank you for spending your time with me. If you feel so inclined, give this video a thumbs up. And if you wanna follow along, make sure you subscribe. And lastly, whatever time of day you've watched this, I hope it has been a kind one. Until tomorrow.